Good evening. Welcome to another Grant Talks Funny Bits, and really excited about this one. I've never been stood up on a first date before, but let me just say that this guest is absolutely worth it. One of the things we always talk about being hypnotists is the whole comedy stage hypnosis type of thing, and the majority of us, let's be honest, we use the hypnosis to try and make us look funny. And the reality is, our guest today is a true comedian who uses hypnosis rather than the other way around, that hypnotists that try and use a bit of comedy. This guy's actually genuinely funny. And not as well as that as well, this guy's got a blue tick on Facebook, so I've got blue tick envy as well. So this guy's a true professional. So if you've got any questions, please put them in the comment section. You can ask him live whilst we're here as well. So without any further ado, I'm going to do our little loading screen, and then after that, we're going to get the man, the myth, the legend himself live on this feed. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please. Oh, there we go. Let's bring us both in. Please make some noise for the man, the myth, the legend that is Rich Guzzi. Please, he's on that side. Clap cheer, make some noise, bang your keyboards. Rich, how are you?
Thank you, Grant. I'm very, very happy to be here. I am one of those technically challenged guys. In fact, even the key fob on my car doesn't work properly. Where I'm trying to go in and where the car unlocks by itself, even that doesn't work for me very well. So that's exactly what happened to me last time. We kindly figured it out here. So I'm here live, and I am very happy. We met in New York.
New York,
And
yes.
yes, and it was an amazing conversation, and we kind of hit it off. And I said, and now when you asked me to do the show, I'm like, I got to do this. So I'm really looking forward to it.
One of the things that, especially with British hypnotists, and there's a lot of hypnotists out there that they kind of have that philosophy of fake it till you make it. There's a lot of guys that are out there that pretend to be really busy, but you genuinely walk your talk. You're doing, I think last time we chatted, you were doing 300 shows a year minimum. You are everywhere, and you're doing the comedy clubs, and you're smashing it, which is a great place to be. So I just got a couple of hellos here. Jason Simmons says hi. He's a British hypnotist down south here. He tunes in every week. Great guy. And Chrissy says woohoo. So that's to you, not to me, probably. So what started you in your journey as a performer? Was it the comedy first that got you into the stage? Was it the stage? How did it happen?
Actually, believe it or not, I started off in music. My parents had me playing the accordion when I was like 6 years old, and we would do these recitals, and I had have all my family over, and I was like the 6-year-old kid playing the accordion. Then I played in band in school. I played the clarinet, actually. So I wanted something a little cooler. So I had a band where I played the guitar. We had a rock band, and then I got tired of carrying around the heavy equipment. I liked being on stage, so I said, you know what? These stand-up comedian guys, they just walk on stage, and they have everything all set up for them. It's perfect. So I started doing stand-up comedy, and once I did that, I never turned back. I said, this is for me, because you had that immediate gratification, that immediate reaction, of like the audience laughing back, to giving you that feedback. It was different than playing in a band, where a band, they're jamming to your music and it's cool, but this was like immediate feedback. And I said, I have to do this. I started doing that, and then about 12 years deep, I was already a headlining comedian working all around the country, and hypnosis kind of happened by accident. It really did. I was working this one club, in New Jersey, and I go into the club, and the club manager goes, "Hey, Rich, did you hear Otto and George on the Howard Stern show this morning?" Now, Otto and George is like this really dirty, nasty puppet act. And I said, yeah, I heard it. He was out of control, and Otto would go berserk. He was he has since died, but he was a crazy act, and it was very funny to watch. So she's telling me the story. She says, "Oh yeah, Ed Rodriguez was the owner of the comedy club at the time," and he goes, we have to fire Otto and George, never work in the club ever again." And his manager was with him, Joe Miller. "We have to fire all Joe Miller's acts. They can't work Rascals ever again." So I had to fire everybody. Even had to fire poor Denny Moore, the hypnotist. So I got to find another hypnotist. And I was just goofing around. I don't even know why I said it, because I was just playing around. Comedians were always joking. And I said, yeah, well, I could do the hypnotizing show for you. She goes, you could do the hypnotizing show? I said, yeah. I used to do this psychic bit in my act. Remember John Edwards, the psychic guy?
Mm.
I used to do this psychic bit, these dopey psychic readings in my show. And people would laugh because it was goofy. And I said, yeah, I do the psychic guy. Hypnotizing is the same thing. So she goes, all right. She takes me in the back. She opens the book up. She says, here's the week. I said, I got that week open. It was like 3 times the money I would normally make. So I said, I'm taking the gig. She says, all right, it's yours. So I remember driving home that night saying, well, better learn how to do the hypnotizing show. I knew nothing about hypnosis, and I had 6 weeks to prepare. So
Wow.
I'm reading hypnosis books, right? I went and took this 2-day hypnotizing class, and I remember driving home after the class saying, I'm in big trouble. This stuff's not going to work. I'm going to look like an idiot. I'm in bad trouble here. So after my shows, my regular comedy shows, I would tell fans, hey, I'm doing hypnotizing at the bar afterwards. You want to get hypnotized? Come hang out with me. So I'm practicing the hand locking. I'm practicing the arms going up and down, all the stuff from the books. And now I'm saying to myself, right, I got to put it all together, make a show out of this somehow. So I'm already a comedian, so I know how comedy shows work.
Yeah.
I'm trying to put the hypnosis together with it. So I said, I got to do it in a place where if it doesn't work, nobody's going to know about it. Like very low risk, like, well, never work in Muskegon, Michigan ever again. One of those type of places, right? so I booked this show in, and the place is packed. The guy sold like $5 tickets, like 300 people show up. So now I'm like kind of on the spot. I got to do a good job. So I do the show, and it actually works. I couldn't believe it. The stuff from the book that actually worked. I'm like, look at this. I'm actually hypnotizing these people. I remember being so excited, I couldn't even go to sleep that night. I had a gig in St. Louis the next night. I drove to St. Louis that night because I was like so wired up.
Yeah.
So then I did another practice show in Altoona, Pennsylvania, another little town. So I got 2 shows under my belt now at this point. Then Rascals comes up. Now Rascals is 7 nights. It's a big venue. It's huge. I mean, all the big comedians work there. Sam Kinison, Andrew Dice Clay, you know, all these big acts, Rodney Dangerfield, George Carlin, they all played this place. So now the first night, Wednesday night, who shows up? Denny Moore, the hypnotist, and his manager. So I'm like, oh, look at this. Now they're going to scrutinize. And in retrospect, it's a smart move. You figure, I'm going to go belly up. They're going to save the day, get their gig back. It's a smart move. I get it. So now here's my plan. I'm going to do my best 15 minutes of stand-up material up front, get the crowd on my side. I'm going to bring like 20 volunteers on stage. Whoever gets hypnotized, that's going to be the show. All right, good. That's the plan. And that's exactly what I did. And it worked. I brought 20 people up. I ended up with 4 like killer subjects. I did the show. No problem. Middle of the show, those guys left. They said, he's got it. Let's get out of here. They left. My confidence grew. I did 7 shows that week. Then I remember at the end of the week, she gave me a check for $3,000. This was like 25 years ago. And I'm like, look at this. Never made this type of money before doing comedy. This is amazing. I never thought I was going to keep doing hypnosis. I just figured, let me just get out of the situation I'm in. But then crazy thing happened was my phone started ringing. Said, hey, you want to do the hypnotizing show? And I booked in like 6 months worth of work.
Nice.
Started taking less and less comedy gigs and more of the hypnosis gigs. And I kept on doing it. And next thing you know, here I am, 25 years later, still doing a hypnotizing show. So
wow,
I got like
5 years.
35 years later, I've been a comedian like on the stage for 35 years, but 25 of those years, of course, there was like 2 years of like both. I'm doing the comedy and
like
hypnosis.
crossover.
Yeah, the crossover. But 25 years later, I'm still doing it, and I've averaged 300 shows a year for 30 years in a row doing comedy.
Brilliant. Yeah,
because I'm lucky where all the venues I do, it's multiple shows in the same venue.
Yeah.
So it's it's less wear and tear on the body traveling around, and I get to build a fan base where fans come to see your particular show, which makes you indispensable. And that's why I teach all my people if you're gonna do this, the smart way to do it is build a fan base where if another hypnotist wants to come in and try to steal your gig, they can't do it because the fans are there to see your act.
Yeah.
And you build a name for yourself, and you become bulletproof.
Yeah.
And that's really a foundation of really having a long, amazing career.
Brilliant. So, I mean, you've got lots of TV credits under your belt. You work a lot of comedy stores, comedy clubs in America. You do a lot of the comedy circuit there as well. What's a lot of hypnotists? We always love to talk about the amazing stuff. What's the worst show you ever did? Because I mean, I had one once where I actually had my pants pulled down. We all have that show where you go, "Wow, that was terrible." What was the worst show you ever did?
So I'm doing these gigs one night in Baltimore, and Baltimore is just for some reason is one of my towns. The audience just happens to love me. It's great subject on stage every night. So I have to do 2 shows on a Sunday night because I'm packed out. Right, that's how much these fans love me. 2 shows on a Sunday. I do the first show, and it's so good that I'm saying to myself, "This is easily the best show I've done all year." It was incredible. The second show made the first show look ridiculous. That's how good it was. So I said, "You know what? This is the best show I've done in my entire career. This is incredible." And I'm riding high. You know that high where you can't do anything wrong. So I remember I had Monday off, and now we're going to South Carolina. No, actually North Carolina. We're going to Charlotte. So just outside of Charlotte, there's a little town called Lake Norman, and the place is packed out on a Tuesday night, all there to see my show. The place holds probably about, let's call it 150, and they have 225 people packed in there.
Nice.
It's unreal. And it's billed as the racy show. The place is so packed that people like literally like almost on the stage. It's overcrowded. I bring 10 volunteers on stage, and they all are like terrible. They're like mostly like virgins. Like I don't think they've ever had a relationship before. And this is supposed to be the racy show, so you're not going anywhere with these subjects. Trust me, all right? And the show just goes in the toilet. And I went from riding high to like this, and it was a bomb. I mean, it was like pulling teeth getting the subjects to do anything. It was like really disastrous. And I'm saying to myself, "Oh man, this was literally." I went from the best show I've ever done in my entire career to this really terrible show. I mean, and I said, "This is easily the worst show I've done all year." That's how bad the show was, and that was nothing compared to the next night. Because the next night, I'm in the southern part of Charlotte, in this other town, all right? And it's a dinner theater. And the place is, I'm talking literally 400 people. The club is normally closed this night, just like it was the night before. They were coming to see a special event, all right?
Yeah.
I had built this market up, and Wednesday night, the place is packed, 400 people in this dinner theater. And I do my pre-talk, no problem. Everything seems to be like a normal show, all right? Got to get the steak off me from last night. I got 15 people on stage. They all get hypnotized deeply. I'm talking great subjects. I'm doing the show, and the subjects are going wild. And the audience is like this. Nothing. No laughing. So now I go to the next bit, and it's even better than the first bit. No laughing. I'm talking like 0 laughs. The next bit, nothing again. So now, and I'm burning through material. You know, when the show's going bad, you're burning through material. You're doing like a half hour's worth of material in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So finally, I get to the smell bit. The smell bit always crushes the crowd. All right. You know what? I'm bringing the big guns out right now. I'm going to that. I do that. There's literally there's these 3 giant like biker dudes on the end of the stage, and they're literally sniffing all over each other, grabbing and normally the crowd would be going wild, and they're like this. To the point where I actually have to literally stop the show. I turn around and now I'm talking to the audience because I'm dumbfounded. I'm talking. I said, "Listen, folks, all right, am I doing something wrong?" I said, "Oh, you don't like the subjects?" I said, "Because you know what? The 3 guys are sniffing on each other, and it's not going to get much better than this from here. I mean, Oh, am I, and everybody's like, no, 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 no. You're doing great. Keep going, keep going." I said, "Keep going." I said, "What's going on here?" I mean, it's so disastrous. It's literally the worst show I've ever done in my entire career. It's terrible. All right. And then you know what happens next. One at a time, the subjects start popping out because the energy gets lower and lower. They're popping out, and I limp it on home with like 2 people left on stage.
Yeah.
And it was so gut wrenching to do that show.
Yeah.
To watch it just slip away a little at a time, a little at a time, and each guy popping out one at a time, and the crowd just going like, and their face just hanging low. And it was, you don't even want to do product sales or meet and greet after the show because
Yeah.
your head is down and you're
You
like,
want to be in the car and you want to be gone.
oh, you just want to go. It's so disastrous, you
Yeah.
know. And I still remember at this day that I went from the best two shows of my career to the worst shows of my career back to back.
It's
It was literally back to back.
it's one of the things about what our industry does sometimes is just when you think you are completely the bee's knees, it has a way of leveling you down. Jason Simmons, Simon says, how did you work around having bad subjects or bad volunteers or a disinterested audience? You know, how have you changed so that doesn't happen now?
Okay, well, actually, there's a couple of techniques here, and I'm glad that's a very good question because I teach this in my class all the time. All right, so let's take the bad subjects first. Now, statistically, you're going to have some stars, you're going to have some stiffs. All right, that's just the way it works.
Yeah.
It's our responsibility as comedians and hypnotists, all right, to make sure that even if you have stiffs on stage, the show will still be funny.
Yeah.
So, and I tell people, you know, your face tells the story. This is Disneyland, all right? And you have to be able to steal those laughs in the middle, all right, and be funny for the subjects a lot of times. So it's all in the structure and the writing of the material on how you can make that entertaining and funny. So what I like to do is in the beginning, I will actually structure all the bits where everybody's doing everything simultaneously. So what'll happen is the subjects will feed off each other, and the one or two great ones will then infect the rest of them, and it'll be like follow the leader, and they'll also become stronger. All
Yeah.
right. So that's formulation number one. You have to do that, but it's really won and lost in the pre-talk in the beginning of the show.
Absolutely.
Too many hypnotists, stage hypnotists, are giving hypnosis seminars up front instead of being a comedian.
Yeah.
You know, and it's vitally important. Now, listen, I understand you have to dispel the myths, the fears. You know, hey, can I get stuck in hypnosis? Right? You know, what happens if you just leave? Right? What could potentially am I going to give up deep dark secrets? Stuff like that. All right. You need to dispel those myths, but it needs to be comedy material about hypnosis. So I want anywhere from 3 to 7 minutes of really good, solid stand-up material about hypnosis up front, and that's going to alleviate 90% of your situation.
Yeah.
Now, let's say you have a scenario where the crowd is a bad crowd, it's a weak crowd. Now, I learned something a long, long time ago. This guy Danny he was an amazing club manager. I was just starting out in comedy. I was working this one club in New Jersey, and he was the club manager. And I said, Danny, you know what? This club is the best club. Every time, every night, the crowd's a hot crowd. It's amazing. This is the greatest people. He goes, has nothing to do with the people. He goes, every crowd's the identical crowd every night. Really? He goes, it's all the way I seat them. I said, really? He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, if you profile the people as they're walking down the stairs, and you just have this row of stairs coming down into the club, I profile them, and I can see who the good people are and who the bad people are. And he goes, it's just a gift I have. All right. I said, really? He goes, yes. And I put the great laughers up front, and I put the weak ones in the back. I said, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, because what happens is the laughter will radiate out this way, out into the crowd. He goes, every crowd is comprised of the exact same people every night. He goes, but if you have the good laughers in the back that night, you have a weak crowd.
Yeah.
I said, that's very interesting. So then once I had that information, I said, well, now I've developed this technique. I come on the stage, and I'm doing my pre-talk, which is comedy material. And let's say you have the crowd that's set up weekly. All right. And the hard laughers are in the back corner. That becomes the new front of my room. And I'll actually adjust my body, tilt it, and now work to that spot and go pow, 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 material, pow, pow, pow.
Yeah.
Then talk to these guys a little bit like here, and then make this section infect the rest of the section. So that way this laughter comes back to the front of the room, and then now it can go back this way, and now you have a hot crowd.
Brilliant.
If you have a hot crowd, immediately your job is already done. Just do good material and you're in good shape. But that's the technique you use as a professional stand-up comic. All right, you would go and do that technique, and now you have a hot crowd every single night within a few minutes of you doing that little technique.
Yeah. That is absolutely stellar advice, and that's what a lot of the courses and books miss out, is about that. You know, the stagecraft, how to work an audience. A lot of misses that out, and that's why some guys do, you know, struggle of getting that connection with the audiences. Jim Kellner was on about when we talk about the bad shows. He says, yeah, we've all had bad shows like that. So you're a hypno. Oh, in fact, before we do that, there's a couple of things that I want to ask. I have seen that you are the hypno. Is it Gumba?
The Goomba Guru.
The Gumba Guru. What is a Gumba Guru?
It's kind of an Italian self-help guy. It's kind of like a rough and tumble Italian, like kind of like I'm a cross between Tony Robbins and Tony Soprano. So
I like that.
Right. So I'm giving you real advice, but if you don't listen to me, you're gonna take your medicine one way or another. All right. I'm giving you straight shooting Italian advice. Hey, what are you doing here, my friend? You're doing wrong. You're gonna screw up. Smarten up. Smarten up.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Love it. So a couple of things as well. You're a dog man, I believe. I'm a cat man myself, but do you still have, is it Jasper? Does Jasper still come around with you?
No. Actually, Jasper has passed. He was 20 years old. But I do have I had two more dogs. I do have 3 cats as well. Actually,
there you go. There we go. We can connect now.
It's actually, I'm more of a cat guy than a dog guy now. My main kitty, she runs the house. You know, she runs the house. But I have 2 additional cats that showed up on my back porch, and we took them in as well. And now, luckily, they all get along very nicely.
Brilliant.
But yeah, I'm a big pet guy, and I do a lot of free shows for the animal shelters. That's my charity of choice. Brilliant. I do anybody who has a charity that has to do with animals. I will do that show for free. Brilliant. Because that's what I'm all about. I want to give back. This career has been amazing for me. It's allowed me to take care of my family and do a lot of great things all over the planet. So it's my way of just giving back a little bit. And I do that and stuff, for military people. I don't think they get the help that they deserve. A lot of these guys have seen some bad stuff, and they're not really getting. And we as hypnotists, it's almost like an obligation for us. You know, we should be helping these people out. You know, who have troubled pasts, and we could be so effective.
Yes,
and absolutely. By doing the show, and then showing the wares, showing that we have this amazing tool. All right, so we're doing a comedy show. And people see it and they're introduced to the product. They say, oh, this hypnosis stuff is very interesting. It's funny, but look what he's doing here with these people. He's helping them out. And that puts hypnosis on the map in a bigger way. That's why it's such a huge responsibility as a stage hypnotist. Huge responsibility. Right?
I remember listening to you to one of your talks in New York as well. And the story about the guy that came to your show and laughed and it saved his life. Do you remember the story?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
That hit such a nerve with me, and we don't realize that sometimes we might think of ourselves as just being entertainers, but it's deeper than that. So yeah, tell the guys watching what happened.
Yeah, in this particular case, I get these emails literally every month, like hundreds of them. And people. That's why I'm saying stage hypnotist. It's a major responsibility, not just doing a comedy show. Yeah. Right. Your first objective is to make people laugh hard. All right, I'm a comedian purist. Make the audience laugh hard. But then remember that a lot of times this is the first interaction they have with hypnosis.
Yeah.
So if they see it done on a professional, amazing level, and they see what the potential is for it, it won't be a last resort to make your life better. It'll be the go-to item. Absolutely. And we can change that. As stage hypnotists, we get the least respect out of the hypnosis for other hypnotists. All right? Yet we are the ones that really can control it. Us as stage hypnotists can actually be the forefront, the advertising tool for hypnosis in general on a macro scale. So it's a very, very huge thing. I've had guys come to my show and, I would get an email from a wife and she's saying, I don't know what you did to my husband tonight, but, he came back from the war. He hasn't slept in bed for 3 years. And all of a sudden, he was a different man on the drive home tonight. Yeah. And he slept in bed with me last night, and my kids got their dad back. Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? This is so powerful.
Yeah.
And we get stories like that all the time. I get stories about, guys saying like, you saved my life. I was gonna quit after today.
Yeah.
I was gonna do something bad to myself. And then all of a sudden, you came along and you saved my life. And there's so many stories like that. Guys who come back, they got terminal illnesses, and they wake up out of hypnosis on stage. They say, "Man, I feel fantastic." This guy was telling me about how he was walking his dog, and something as simple as that. He goes, "It brought me such pleasure. I was able to walk my dog again because I have a terminal illness, and my hip is in such bad shape that I can't. But just the simple act of walking his dog, brought so much joy to this person's life." And that's what we do. That's what we do for a living. We
Yeah.
change people's lives.
I
And it's
must admit,
also
it's the best job as such in the world. So I think we've both been blessed. We've got a very short clip here as well. I mean, you talk in the clip as well, but I'm going to bring this in. But then afterwards, we're going to have a bit of a chat about it as well, because it is a great, well delivered clip as well. So I'm just going to play this for everybody now.
Rich Guzzi of the Rich Guzzi Comedy Hypnosis Experience here. Every week, I bring people in the audience on my stage and hypnotize them right before your eyes and put them into the most outrageously funny scenarios you could possibly imagine. Well, this week's hypnotic highlight, we're going to go to Virginia Beach and the world-famous Funny Bone Comedy Club. One of my favorite bits to do is what I call the laugh police. The subjects on stage think they're badass cops, and laughing is against the law. Well, we're in a comedy club. What do you think people are going to be doing? They're going to be laughing. And the more people laugh, the more the cops go crazy. Well, the star of the show is this wonderful woman with an amazing and infectious personality.
32 in the back, locking your asses up too. Everybody going to the podium. Everybody. Gotta call my paddy wagons.
I mean, now she's really taking charge. I mean, she's getting crazy and she wants to lock people up.
That's right. All of us gonna lock your ass up.
Every night, it's hilarious how one person always seems to be the main instigator. The main problem, they just focus on that one person.
Who's the main problem here?
She volunteering, but this one over here, I can't get her to stop. For some reason.
She's smiling right at you.
And she's smiling right at me. Now she's laughing. This bitch is crazy. She don't know how to lock her up.
It doesn't get much better than that. I love this lady. She's absolutely amazing. Anyway, want to see some more of our videos? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's a link below. Want to see me on tour? I might be coming to a city near you. Go to richguzzi.com. There's a link for that as well.
Absolutely fantastic. I love the audience's reaction to her, but she is in that place well and truly.
She's locked in, and that's the key ingredient to doing amazing stage hypnosis, is to make both the audience and the subjects feed off each other. So you had that volley and serve thing going on, and when the crowd gets super involved and engaged, then your show will excel to like the expert level.
Absolutely. We've got a couple of questions as well. Chrissy, kind of, as she says, let's have a look now. It's only show first part of the question, but your show, Rich, was the first time of Chrissy being hypnotized. She's at the stage, and the mind has never felt so relaxed. Her question is, do you have to believe in hypnotism to work?
Actually, no. In fact, some of my best subjects on the stage, and after doing I've done over 10,000 shows and over 1,000 television and radio appearances, in my career. And it's always the subject, always the guy like this in the front row.
Yeah.
Yeah. That skeptical person who doesn't believe is the one who goes super deep.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, my hypnotic technique is kind of like an energy transfer type situation, and I make their brain fill in the cracks, so it's going to make it a lot more powerful.
Yeah.
Because I look at it like this: if a hypnotic subject's not a 5 or a 6, a very very deep subject, I can't keep them on the stage because I think it ruins I guess the believability of the show. Yes, I understand they're still hypnotized. I could probably do therapy work with them, but they're not good enough for a show. So I want their brain to fill in the cracks and make them hypnotize themselves.
Yeah.
So if you think about like that first, and then reverse engineer the induction to make that happen. So how do I make that happen? All right. So I make their brain go to a spot where all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute, this is working. Oh, what happened here? And all of a sudden, boom, and they'll drop hard.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the atheist is probably the biggest believer in God out there, because he
Yeah.
says, if God exists, I'm so screwed. I'm just not a believer. I'm not going to believe at all. But all of a sudden, if he came, he'd be the first one like, oh my God, he's here, right? So it's the same thing with hypnosis. Once they fail that first test and their eyes
Yeah.
can't open, they're locked shut, boom, they're
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
I let them fill in the cracks.
I think if they're so closed-minded, if you crack it a little bit, it smashes right open.
It really,
it's out there. Yeah.
it really
Eric
does.
has a question for us. He just says, which is your all-time favorite bit or type of bit?
Me personally, I know it's sophomoric humor, but I absolutely love the smell bit, the bad
Yeah.
smell, good smell,
Yeah.
because the reaction on the people's faces, the subjects' faces, is so hilarious to watch. And I've had so many things happen during that smell bit that are just outstandingly
Yeah.
memorable, that I have to say it's my all-time favorite bit to do. It always delivers.
Yeah.
And it goes on. I was in the world of comedy. People say, "Well, when do you know when the bit's over?" Is when the audience stops laughing at it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I keep on hitting. As long as the crowd's laughing at it, I keep hitting it. I keep hitting it.
Yeah.
And that smell, that good smell, bad smell can literally go on for 15, 20 minutes sometimes, where
Yeah.
the crowd's laughing so hard, their sides are hurting, and you just
Yeah.
you exhaust the laughs out of the crowd.
Brilliant.
And
Brilliant.
yeah,
It's a
and
great bit.
it's high school humor. It's high school humor, but it's universal. It's really funny.
Do you know what? It's funny. That's funny. Sometimes people try and be clever funny, and you can get a laugh. But if you can get a genuine belly laugh, that's therapeutic in itself. So yeah. Sorry, Jim Kellner says your hypnotic highlight promo is awesome. So
Well, thank you.
yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah.
you. I got my girlfriend Jolana to thank for that. She is a wizard with electronics and social media and stuff.
I must
And
admit, she is an absolute star, and I know she's very much. I know you're the star, but I know she's very much there supporting you.
oh yeah,
And do you know what? And to have that as well, I think it's essential to be, gigging entertainers up and down the country and around the world to have that support there as well. And I know she's spot on. Her social media is absolutely on point.
yeah. She's great at that. She's great at talking to the fans
Yeah,
afterwards. And keeping fans, online, talking with them and
yeah,
keeping in touch with them. But also, she's an amazing hypnotist. Also, she learned
yeah.
hypnosis by being my assistant on the show, and she's
Brilliant.
become so good. And she saved me many, many times. Where I'm doing a radio show or a TV show, and we have to hypnotize people in a very precarious situation who do not want to be hypnotized, and we kind of tag team them, and she sneaks up on them and doesn't know that she is hypnotizing them, and we double whammy them.
Yeah.
So she knows, she like we're Abbott and Costello. She knows exactly how to get the job done in very precarious situations. We've been in some real like lions' dens where these people do not want to be hypnotized. Yet you have to do it. That's the show.
I think it helps on some levels as well when there is sometimes a perception of hypnosis being a bit creepy or seedy. To have a female there with you as well, it gives that reassurance that nothing untoward is going on. We've got some love coming in for Joe as well. So we've got Chrissy says, we love Joe, she rocks. Eric says, Joe is the secret weapon behind Rich's success. So yeah, that's
Really
definitely
is.
coming in. Yeah, Jason Morgan, the Welsh hypnotist, is here, and he says good evening. And Ian Rogers, another UK hypnotist, has just asked if you could just go into a bit more detail about the content of your killer pre-talk.
Yes. All right. So, when I'm doing any type of thing in my life, I always say I'm not a multitasker, but there's always additional things happening behind the scenes for me to be doing anything. So, in other words, if I'm walking to the bathroom, I'm taking a case of toilet paper with me at the same time, because the toilet paper needs to go to that bathroom anyway, and I got to store it there. So I'm always doing two operations, maybe 3, 4, 5 different things at the same time.
Yeah.
So I'm saying to myself, if I'm doing a hypnosis pre-talk, and this is a comedy show. So what are my objectives? What am I trying to do? Well, it's a comedy show, hopefully. So I need to make them laugh really hard. All right. Also, I have to build rapport because I want to make these subjects very easy subjects to hypnotize. But also, I want to have a lot of subjects volunteering. All right. I want to keep the troublemakers off the stage. All right. And I want to dispel the myths and fears. Also, give them the benefits of hypnosis because I want to sell product after the show. All right. Plus, I want to get them to come see the show again with their friends. So those are the components I'm trying to accomplish here. So now reverse engineering that. How do I make that happen? So as a comedian, I know that the first minute is imperative. Because if you're famous, the crowd will give you 3 minutes to start it being really funny. If you're famous. If you're not famous, they give you 1 or even less now. Because the smartphone has made everybody really dumb. And their attention spans are really, really short. Yeah. So you have to come out firing. So the first time you hit that stage, you have to have an immediate icebreaker that's going to say, whoa, I trust this guy. This guy is funny. All right. And the easiest way to do that is address the elephant in the room. You're at a hypnosis show. You're at a comedy show. What is everybody's thought about going to a comedy show? Oh, the comedians pick on people in the front row. They pick on people, right? And hypnosis, I'm going to be doing some stupid stuff. So why not make my first initial ice-breaking jokes exactly about that? And you pick your little guy in the front who's got the big smile on his face. Sir, listen, I'm not hypnotizing. Relax, sir. Don't be nervous, right? And all of a sudden, that nervous energy, by just me having that banter with him, already has the crowd saying, this guy is a professional. He's got this, all right? And then you do a couple of involvement devices where you have the entire crowd doing the same thing at the same time. And it could be anywhere from, I've seen the spiral thing going around, the hand circle experiments, but anything that's going to get them all doing the same thing. But then what you do is you kind of let them off the hook. So you make a joke, and they did something stupid, but you let them off the hook. You let them down easy. So what's happening is you're now building that rapport. Oh yeah, we're joking around, but it's all in good humor. It's all in good fun. I dispel all the myths. So listen, I can't be hypnotized. I'm way too smart. Only stupid people can be hypnotized, right? So I make jokes about that. Listen, what if I get stuck in hypnosis? Listen, you can't get stuck. Trust me. First of all, I'm a professional. I've been doing this for days. All right. And then so now I'm already making a joke about. So you're making jokes all along the way while getting rid of the fears, while dispelling the myths, right? While you start, putting all the stuff in about all the benefits of hypnosis. All right. And you want to eliminate the jerks who are going to maybe potentially try to ruin your show. Yeah. All right. So that's part of your pre-talk. As I'm doing the pre-talk, I'm also observing the entire crowd. And I'm looking to see where the trouble spots might be. Some guy who has to blurt out, hey, I want to be the center of attention, not you. It's got to be me. You know that guy's going to try to volunteer. Yep. And where's he going to sit? Right smack in the middle. You don't want that negative energy on your chair. So one of the biggest secrets I tell all my new students, when you expose that in the beginning during the pre-talk, you make a mental note. You see that guy walk into the stage. You walk right to the edge of the stage. Hey, man, what's your name? Joe? Hey, Joe, my name is Rich. How you doing, man? Where you from? Oh, yeah, really? Yeah, me. It's pretty good. You delay him enough, and all of a sudden you turn around. Oh, Joe, all the chairs are full. You know what? Try from the audience, all right? And now, you made a friend. Yeah. You didn't offend him, but you didn't want him on your stage in the first place. So you accomplish all these things with one little diversionary technique. Very clever. It's all those little nuances. I always tell people, especially a hypnotist, you have to be like an operative. You're like Jason Bourne on the stage. You're looking at every last piece of data that they're willing to give you. Yeah. All right. And the better you are at evaluating that data, the better you are going to be at doing this show.
Yeah. And that's it. It's fluid. Every moment things change, and it's being aware of those things. The actual structure on stage, the hypnosis bit is the simple bit. It's the management of the room. So one of the things I always do with this show, and people love it, is it's not a hard sell. We don't have people selling stuff, but you do some incredible training. So I've got a link just down here as well to hypnosisworld.com. But you're doing some online virtual training as well now. Is that true?
Yes, that's most of the training is virtual now.
Yeah, brilliant.
I actually have a stage hypnosis mastery class that
Fantastic.
is unbelievable. And right now we're in the comedy writing phase.
Yeah.
So we're actually showing people how to write comedy hypnosis.
Yeah.
And we show you how to actually structure all the material so it becomes comedy hypnosis material, not just hypnosis demonstration material.
Yes.
You know, and it has a flow. In other words, when you start doing a comedy show, you'll notice a regular standard comedy show has an opener, a middle act, and then the headliner. Your comedy show needs a hypnosis show needs to go the exact same way. You bring them here, then you bring them here, and then you bring them here as the crescendo.
Yeah.
And your show will work the exact same way. So I usually do like a 20-minute story up front of the actual body of the show where it's rapid fire material, one bit after another. Boom, 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 boom. Because you got to remember, you just let them sit through a 2 or 3 minute hypnotic induction.
Yeah.
The gap between the downtime and the laughing needs to make sense. It's like if you tell a long joke, the punchline, the laugh at the end better be so huge if there's no laughs in the beginning part. If you
Yeah.
have laughs along the way, you're fine. But if you have a delay, the payoff has to be that much better.
Yeah.
So by making them sit through a 2 or 3 minute induction, I give them a 20-minute nonstop payoff.
Yeah.
Then I give them the first break. Then I go into the smell bit, which is next. I give them the next break. Then I do 4 to 6 bigger sketches,
Yeah.
almost like a Saturday Night Live type sketch, like a sketch TV type show, where they're all interacting with each other, and that'll be the main body of your show. So right now, like I said, we're working on writing comedy material, and I actually bring headlining comedians in and comedy writers to write
Brilliant.
with the people because remember a hypnotist is mostly focusing on being a hypnotist, not being a comedian. So, but there's other skills that outside practitioners have that we need.
Yeah.
Like my acting coach was imperative to my success as a hypnotist.
Yeah.
A comedian, a comedy writer is imperative to you being successful writing comedy material.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing in all these extra trainers to train on every Monday. We do a Monday night stage hypnosis mastery class that will make you go from like just good to excellent to the point where I don't book in shows. People say, well, man, how do you get all this work? Actually, believe it or not, it happens on autopilot.
Yeah.
My emails and my phone rings all the time with work. Also, when I do a gig, before I even leave, the guy's like, when do you want to do it again? Let's put it 6 months. And the schedule keeps on working out because you're doing something excellent and the fans want to come see that particular show. So, but that's the way you do it. Yes, I had that training. I have training specifically on how to do rapid fire, powerful hypnosis. I call it guerrilla hypnosis.
Yes. Great name as well.
I show people how to do 5 killer inductions, and that's all you will need forever.
Yeah.
I know there's lots of guys who train. Oh, I could show you 30 inductions. It's all a derivative of these 5.
Yeah.
If you could do these 5 masterfully, there'll be nothing else you need for the rest of your career. So whether you're doing one person one-on-one or you're doing 1,000 people on a cruise ship, these 5 will serve you well, and you'll be able to hypnotize anybody, any place, anytime.
Pat says, Pat's just commented as well. As someone who's in Rich's comedy trading class, he will attest to the fact how amazing, enriching, and informative it is. So it's Pat. So I think you need to send him a check for his commission.
Actually, Pat is what you call a ringer. All right, Pat was he took my initial certification class, stage hypnosis certification class, and he was a standout guy.
Yeah,
he really took to heart the understanding of the concepts of why hypnosis works the way it works. All right, not just mechanical techniques where you're like a robot. I always try to teach people the understanding of why it works, because if you understand that concept, you can paraphrase and you get everything done very easily. All right.
Yeah.
Pat took it to heart, did an amazing job. He took guerrilla hypnosis. He was the standout performer. Now he's actually in the comedy boot camp, the stage hypnosis mastery class, and he's literally killing it. His show, after only 1 month, is equally as good In fact, better than 90% of all hypnotist shows on the planet that I've seen
Nice.
in only 1 month.
Yeah.
You know, because he's taken the work to heart. He actually goes home and does the homework. I give you homework every single week, and if you do the homework, you're going to get the techniques, and you're going to get them down.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people, you know, it's so in my comedy my acting class, you'll see that when they cast a movie, each character has 4 traits, but there's always one trait that's a little off. All right, and that's where the comedy hypnosis sketch will be masterful. All right. So if you go too far, it becomes too complicated for the subjects. If you go too little, the audience doesn't get the proper response. All right. So you want to have one off item. So you're all going to become rappers. All right. So yeah, that could be pretty funny.
Yeah.
But you're only going to rap in Chinese.
Yes.
So the one off item makes it that much more over the top. But if you said, you know, you only rap in Chinese, but you know, you also your pants fell off at the same time. Now you're putting too many pieces of the puzzle in there, and now it doesn't work anymore. So just give the one intricate item, the one nuance.
Yeah. Jeff Benning, correct. I hope that's correct. Says the comedy writing is gold. He's absolutely right there. So, Rich, it's been great to catch up with you, and I'm pleased you turned up as well. I always ask guests as well which of their 2 books are their essential books. They don't necessarily have to be hypnosis books, but 2 books that have changed your perspective on a performer.
Let me see. Believe it or not, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill is number 1. Yep, there you go. Yep. I tell people memorize that book. There's 15 chapters.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's 15 chapters. I memorized that book. I got the book on audio version. Yeah. I put each chapter on a separate thing, and I listened to it over and over again until I memorized the chapter. That book is absolutely imperative to your success. All right. And let me see. A second book. What would be my second choice? The autobiography of Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, nice.
Because he was a huge person in all of history, global history, but also he was a performer himself. You know, he was a writer. A speech giver of epic proportion. And his dealings with other people will be, and the way he describes it is absolutely invaluable technique that you will need to be good at this job.
Right. I'll definitely.
It's absolutely invaluable. Brilliant. Because he explains why humans do what they do. And I feel that even though it's not a hypnosis book, it's a human development book. You know, it's a book about why people's brains do what they do. And a brilliant figure in all of history, not just American history, but all, you know, because he was an ambassador to Europe as well. You know, so and even though he denounced hypnosis, which was interesting, he kind of put it on hold for a while and put hypnosis backwards. You know, because he was the guy who they sent over to France to study to see if hypnosis was real, and he denounced it. He said, "No, this hypnosis is all malarkey. It's all nothing, right?" So he actually he set it back 100 years. Yeah. Right. Yeah. He did. However, his skills of human analyzation will be imperative to your success in this game.
Fantastic. Well, it's definitely gone onto my list. Weirdly, about the Think and Grow Rich, every successful performer that I speak to that understands the business of hypnosis, whenever I kind of go, what's your go-to book? It's always Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. And it's bizarre that book, again, from the business side of things, is very much a go-to book for that. Rich, I've put your link up to the training. What an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Give my love to Joe as well. You guys are going to be at Hypno Thoughts?
We're going to be at Hypno Thoughts. And
I'm trying to be there. I'm supposed to be there, but it's wherever we're at with our travel plans and travel bans over here at the moment. But yeah, I'm booked in and I'm supposed to be there. So it'd be great to catch up.
I am taking you to Gordon Ramsay's Fish and Chips.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
It's one of my favorite restaurants in all of Vegas. We're going to go. You're going to absolutely love it.
Fantastic. I look forward to it, Rich. I'm going to leave it with you. Guys, if you've enjoyed this, please send Rich some love on his social media as well. This will be uploaded onto YouTube, Rich, and I'll send you a link to it as well with a link to your websites and your trainings.
Right.
Go on.
Anybody who knows me knows that I'm very accessible. Don't feel nervous about contacting me or calling me. I'm very easy to find. You can just Google me and you'll find me right away. Yeah. You can call me on my phone. My phone number is on my website, my richguzzi.com website. My phone number is on the contact page. You can literally call me right now, and I will pick up the phone.
Oh, brilliant! Everybody call Rich now.
Anybody who knows me that you will never get that message. Oh, the mailbox is full. You will never get that. I answer all. I love showing people how to make this a successful part of your life.
Yeah.
It's very near and dear to my heart. I could talk about this subject all day long.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I definitely wanted you on this show. Like I said, when we met in New York, a genuine, real person that actually cares about the industry and delivers those goods. So it's been an absolute pleasure, Rich. And thank you very much. And hopefully I shall see you in Las Vegas.
I will see you in Vegas, Grant.
Cheers. See you later, buddy.
Bye-bye.